Hello and welcome to the Dr. English podcast. We've been taught to underestimate small talk. We think it's meaningless, shallow, something to get through before the real conversation begins. But what if that idea is completely wrong? What if small talk is not the beginning of something bigger? What if it is the thing that creates everything bigger? Think about the last time you met someone new. It didn't start with a deep conversation about life, purpose, or dreams. It started with something simple. Hi, Dot, how are you? Where are you from? These are bridges, and every bridge, no matter how small it looks, has the power to take you somewhere new. Opportunities don't begin with big speeches. They begin with small sentences. A job interview doesn't start with your skills. It starts with a greeting. A friendship doesn't begin with trust. It begins with a simple question. Even love doesn't start with deep. It starts with a moment of connection, and that moment is almost always small talk. But here's where things get interesting. Most English learners are not afraid of grammar. They are not afraid of vocabulary. They are afraid of that first sentence, that first hello, that first how are you? Because in that moment, it feels like everything is on the line, your confidence, your identity, your fear of being judged. So what do people do? They stay silent, they wait, they avoid, and slowly they convince themselves. I'm not good at English. Stop, but that's not true. You're not bad at English. You're just avoiding the asterisk, asterisk, entry point, asterisk, asterisk. Small talk is the entry point. It's not about being perfect. It's about being present. You don't need a perfect accent to say nice to meet you. You don't need advanced grammar to ask, what do you do? You just need the courage to start. Because once you start, something powerful happens. The pressure disappears. The begins to flow. And suddenly, you're not thinking about English anymore. You're just talking. This is why mastering 100 small talk sentences can change everything. Not because the sentences are special, but because they remove the biggest barrier. Asterisk, asterisk, when you already know what to say, you don't freeze. When you've practiced it again and again, you don't hesitate. When it feels familiar, you don't overthink. Instead, you step forward, you speak, you connect. And here's the deeper truth. Small talk is not about words. It's about energy. With confidence, people feel it. When you say, that's interesting with curiosity, people open up. When you say, tell me more with genuine interest, conversations become meaningful. So even the simplest sentence can create a powerful moment. Now imagine this, you walk into a room full of strangers. Before, you would stay quiet. But now, you have your practice, you have your confidence. Say, hi, how are you? And just like that, everything changes. One sentence, one decision. That's the power of small talk. It turns strangers into connections. It turns silence into opportunity. It turns you into someone who shows up, so don't ignore it. Don't underestimate it. Don't think it's too basic. Because the people who master the basics are the ones who build extraordinary lives. Small talk is not small. It's the beginning of everything. And once you learn to use it, you don't just speak English. You open doors you didn't even know existed. Let's be honest. Most people are not lacking intelligence. They are not lacking talent. They are not even lacking opportunity. They are lacking one simple thing, repetition. And because of that, they mistake hesitation for inability. They say, I can't speak English. But what they really mean is, I haven't repeated it enough to feel natural. Here's something powerful to understand. Your brain doesn't learn through understanding alone. It learns through repetition. You can watch 100 English videos. You can read 50 grammar books. You can memorize thousands of words. But if you don't repeat, your brain never turns knowledge into skill. It stays stuck in your head. It never reaches your tongue. This is where shadowing changes everything. Shadowing is simple. You listen, and you repeat immediately. No overthinking, no translating. Just pure repetition. Your tongue feels heavy, your pronunciation feels wrong. Your timing feels off, you might even feel a little embarrassed, even when you're alone. And that's exactly where most people quit. But here's the truth, that discomfort is not failure. It's progress happening in real time. Every time you repeat a sentence, your brain is building a new pathway. Every time you struggle to say a word, your muscles are learning a new movement. Every time you try again, you're getting closer to fluency. Think about how children learn language. They don't study grammar first, they don't worry about mistakes. They repeat naturally, effortlessly, they become fluid. Why? Because repetition creates familiarity, and familiarity creates confidence. Confidence is not something you wait for, it's something you build. Sentence by sentence, word by word, repeat by repeat. Let's break the illusion. Most people think confident speakers are special. They think they're naturally good. They have a gift. They're different from me. But look closer. Confident speakers are not special. They are simply practice. They've said the same sentences so many times that speaking feels automatic. No fear, no hesitation, no second guessing. And here's the part nobody talks about. Repetition doesn't just change your skill. It changes your identity. At first you say, I'm learning English. Then after enough repetition, something shifts. You start thinking in English. You respond faster. You stop translating. And one day, you say, I speak English. That transformation doesn't come from motivation. It comes from repetition. So when you practice these 100 small talk sentences, don't just read them. Don't just listen passively. Repeat them out loud, with energy, with intention. Say them when you feel confident. Say them when you feel tired, say them even when you don't feel like it, because every repetition is a vote for the person you're becoming. And yes, it will feel boring, sometimes it will feel repetitive, because it is. But remember this, boring repetition creates extraordinary results. The world's best athletes repeat basic movements. The world's best musicians repeat simple notes. The world's best speakers repeat simple phrases, not because they have to, but because they understand the secret. Mastery lives in repetition. So don't chase new techniques every day. Don't jump from one method to another. And again, until the sentence is no longer something you practice. Because one day you'll open your mouth to speak, and the words will come out naturally. No effort, no hesitation. And in that moment, you won't feel like a learner anymore. You'll feel like someone who belongs, someone who can speak, someone who is confident. So remember this, repetition is not boring. Repetition is power. Repetition is transformation. Repetition is the bridge between who you are and who you're becoming. Say it once and it feels difficult. Say it 10 times and it feels familiar. Say it 100 times and it becomes you. Let's challenge a belief that quietly holds millions of people back. I'll speak English when I'm ready. It sounds reasonable. It sounds safe, but it's also one of the biggest lies in language learning. Because here's the truth, you don't become ready and then speak. You speak, and that's how you become ready. Think about it. How do you learn to swim? Do you wait until you feel completely confident and then jump into the water? Number. You step in a little unsure, a little uncomfortable, a little afraid, and slowly your body adapts. Speaking English works the same way. But most people stay at the edge. Overthinking. They tell themselves, I need more vocabulary. My grammar isn't perfect. My pronunciation isn't good. So they delay, day after day, week after week. And the most dangerous part? They start believing they're making progress just because they're learning more. But learning without speaking is like preparing for a race without ever running. Here's a bold idea. Perfection is not your goal. Don't care if your grammar is 100% correct. They care if they understand you. They care about your message, your energy, your willingness to connect. Imagine this. You meet someone new, you want to say something simple, hi, how are you? But your mind starts racing. What if I say it wrong? What if my accent sounds strange? What if they judge me? So instead, you say nothing, and in that silence, you don't just lose a sentence. You lose a moment, an opportunity, a connection. Now imagine a different version of you. Your heart still beats faster. Your voice might even shake a little. But you say it anyway. Hi, how are you? And something surprising happens. The world doesn't collapse. The person smiles. They respond. A conversation begins. And just like that, your fear loses its power. This is how confidence is built. Not in your mind, but in your actions. Every time you speak, even imperfectly, you prove to yourself, I can do this. Illusion. People think confident speakers feel no fear. That's not true. They feel fear, ready, again and again, until fear becomes background noise. Here's something powerful to remember. Your first sentence will never feel perfect. Your first conversation will never feel smooth. And that's okay, because fluency is not born in perfect moments. It's built in messy ones. In broken sentences and small mistakes. In imperfect attempts, every time you speak too early, you grow faster. You move forward. Every time you choose action over perfection, you break another limit. And yes, sometimes you will make mistakes. You'll say something wrong. You'll forget a word. You'll pause longer than you want. But here's the truth. Mistakes are not evidence that you're failing. They are evidence that you're trying, and trying is the only path to progress. So when you practice these small talk sentences, don't wait until they feel perfect in your head. Say them out loud. Use them in real situations, even if your voice is not strong yet, even if your pronunciation is not perfect yet, because not yet is not failure. It's progress in motion. Now think about your future self, the version of you who speaks English confidently, the version of you who starts conversations easily, the version of you who doesn't overthink every word. That person is not waiting for permission. That person is built through action, through speaking again and again. So don't wait for the perfect moment. It doesn't exist. Don't wait for perfect confidence. It comes after. Don't wait to feel ready, because readiness is not a feeling. It's a decision to speak forward, even when it's uncomfortable. Because one day, you'll look back at the moment you finally spoke, and you'll realize that was the moment everything changed. So speak now. Wait, the longer you stay the same. And the moment you choose to speak before you're ready is the moment you stop being a learner and start becoming a speaker. There's a myth that quietly controls how people learn English. A dangerous myth. It says, to sound smart, you must use big words. To sound fluent, you must speak complex sentences. To impress people, your English must be advanced. And because of this belief, people complicate everything. They search for difficult vocabulary. They build long, confusing sentences. They try to sound like someone they're not. And in the process, they lose the most important thing, clarity. Let's flip the idea. What if powerful English is not complex? What if it's simple? Think about the most effective communicators in the world. They don't speak to impress. They speak to connect. Their words are clear. Their sentences are simple. Their message is easy to understand. Because real power is not in sounding complicated. Real power is in being. Understood. Here's the truth most learners don't realize. Simple English is not weak English. It's confident English. When you say, "Hi, how are you? What do you do? That sounds great. Tell me more." You are not being basic. You are being effective. You are creating space for conversation. You are making the other person comfortable. You are building connection. Now compare that to someone trying too hard. They use complex words, long sentences, and instead of sounding confident, they sound unsure because deep down they're not speaking to Kate. They're speaking to prove something. And here's the problem. When you focus on impressing, you stop connecting. Connection is simple. It doesn't need complicated grammar. It doesn't need advanced vocabulary. It needs clarity, presence, and honesty. Let's make this practical. Imagine you meet someone new. You could say, "I am currently engaged in professional activities within the corporate sector." Or you could say, "I work in an office." Which one is clearer? Which one invites a real conversation? Simple English wins. Because simple language removes pressure for you. And for the listener, when your sentences are clear, you don't overthink. When your words are familiar, when your message is direct, people understand you instantly. And understanding creates confidence, not just for you, but for the person you're speaking with. Here's something powerful. Fluency is not about how many words you know. It's about how easily you use the words you already know. You don't need 10,000 words to speak well. You need a few hundred used naturally. Used at the right moment. That's why these 100 small talk sentences matter so much. They are not complex. They are real. They are used every day. In every country, by millions of people. And when you master them, you don't just learn English. Learn how to communicate like a human being. Now let's go deeper. Simple English also shows strength because it takes confidence to be clear. It takes courage to say things in a direct way. It takes awareness to remove unnecessary complexity. Anyone can make something sound complicated, but it takes skill to make something sound simple. This is why the best speakers in the world choose simplicity, not because they don't know more, but because they understand more. So stop trying to sound perfect. Stop trying to sound advanced. Stop trying to impress people with your English. Instead, focus on being natural. Focus on being understood. Use simple sentences. Repeat them. Make them part of your voice, because when you speak simple English with confidence, something powerful happens. People listen. People connect with you. And in that moment, you realize something important. You don't need complicated words to express big ideas. You don't need advanced grammar to build real connections. You don't need perfect English to have powerful conversations. All you need, used well. So embrace simplicity. Live it, because in the end, it's not the person with the most complicated English